Hello and welcome back to another day in Magic Arena. In case you didn't know it, today is stress test day. They're adding 100,000 new people to the servers. So before that happens, in a couple of hours, I'm going to try to get in and get my quest before it all falls apart. Today's quest, we did re-roll already, is to win 2 games with the blue-white deck. I have 2 blue and white decks up my sleeve, a blue-white tokens deck and a blue-white approach of the Second Sun deck. The tokens deck is probably better in general and in the meta, but I think we'll try to get 1 game with each. But before we do, let's pack it up. The current economy, they admitted on the developer forums, was not generous enough, so they made it like, yo, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you 3 more packs each week, 1 of Ixalan, 1 of Our, 1 of Amonkhet. And to that we said, well, better than nothing. So by all means, let's pack it up. This turned gold as soon as, look at, I guess, I wonder what I'm getting for my wild card, because I didn't have this a second ago. I wonder what my rare is. What do you guys think it's going to be? Oh, look, it's a wild card. Probably because I ran into the pity timer from not having a rare wild card in over a week, I think. All right, Hour of Dev, what do you got for me? You gotta rev it up. You gotta rev your pack up and rub it for luck. And it's all about that rare. Hazard's Undying Fury. No! Anyway. Amonkhet, bail me out. Show me something good. Yeah, we got an uncommon wild card. Those are always needed. And Sweltering Suns. Maybe there's a deck for that somewhere in the future. I don't think I have it right this second. A control deck full of red, but even in a monsters deck, I might play something like that right now in the Dino deck, given the amount of little critters running around. Anyway, for a rare to help us today, I'm trying to think of what would be a good rare to pick up. I like to get to at least 2 on my rares before I branch out, so it's probably between Anointed Procession and Settle the Wreckage being the 2 rares I might be most interested in, with Settle being the stronger card and Anointed Procession going in more decks. Think. It's probably going to be my only wild card for the week, so use wisely, right? Well, I know what's more fun. What's more fun is the Anointed Procession. Wait, I don't even have it in here? Never. Yeah, there it is. Anointed Procession is more fun. I think that is clear. But Control really always speaks to me, and Settle is such a good control card. Torn between 2 lovers. Tell you what, let's play our games and see who's winning and who's losing and who needs the help. So, moving right in, checking that tier rank, by the way. Still on Diamond 4, but I saw somebody that there is a Master tier. I've been up in the Diamond ranks, but I didn't get to Master tier, so now I'm a little remotivated to be more spiky and try to get there. Let's play the blue-white token deck first. And try to step up and get a victory. Let me know what you think of the epic hype music, courtesy of YouTube. Type in epic music and it comes right up. And that's not white mana. You are not plains. Some decisions in life are simpler than others. Well, Graphic, what would you like to do with your hand? Having a look, you can tell when the cards light up. Okay. Okay. Go, kitty. Get in the game, kitty. Our opponent with an Evolving Wilds, they will have a Swamp. Sacred Cat getting in there. I can't think of anything I really want to counter here, but I may as well play the untapped land since I also don't think there's anything I'll Desert's Hold the next turn. It's tempting to cycle this desert just because I feel like my hand is low action, but I think that would be pretty loose. We are trying to get to a Regal Caracal after all, but our opponent's given us that blue-black look, which we're going to have to draw a lot more of our Embalm guys than we have right now. We're closing in. We're closing in on Caracal time. And whatever shall we do when we get there? Whether or not to slam a Caracal from this position is almost certainly a bad idea. And yet, they often say that nothing ventured, nothing gained. Opponent Supreme Willin'. And that will end my turn. Using a Supreme Will there definitely implies that they have some other counter spell to use. And they won't slam a Scarab God on 5 if they're smart, because against white that can be disastrous. Oh, he taps for Secrets. Interesting. Secrets of the Golden City is a fun card, but that sorcery speed will get you. It will get our opponent here. For nothing else, for an extra damage. I won't be surprised to see a Ravenous Chupacabra. However, we can Desert's Hold that critter and keep getting in for some damage. Put our opponent on a bit more of a clock. Oh, well, our opponent doesn't have a lot of respect. Doesn't have much respect for us at all, to be honest. Well, let's do our best to punish, shall we? No respect for Ixalan's Binding or Cast Out over there. But Desert's Hold does a very effective impression of those cards. Alright, you're at 6. I think I'll just hold this. Well, that's not... No, I should play it because then I have Dunes activations for 2 turns in case a Moment of Craving or something like that messes up my play. See, he may be able to kill 1 or 2 creatures, but he probably can't kill many of them. So I'm holding Essence Scatter for second Scarab God or Ravenous Chupacabra here, although I think Chupacabra should have come down last turn, if our opponent does have it. Go kitties. Be good kitties. Purr, purr, meow. Do your work. That handful of cards, is there an answer? Yes, kick in the epic music in the final turns. Yes, yes, good, good. They are having a long think about it. What to do with a Desert's Hold, for example. And a Golden Demise will take out the kittens. But not the Caracal, who can get our opponent to... with the Dunes can get to 2, but I don't think that's the plan. That said, we could sacrifice a desert and still have a mana left over for 1 cat, but I think we just bring out 2 cats. You have to wonder if the opponent had the Golden Demise earlier and made a greedy play with that Scarab God. See if our opponent wishes to counter this kitten. No, they do not. And the fast progression through the priority implies that they don't have one. Alright, the cats came back the very next day. Will they be coming back to a victory? Moments like this, you can only try to imagine what's in the opponent's hand. They haven't missed a land drop, therefore they could still have some lands. They don't have, in my opinion, a Chupacabra or Vraska's Contempt, or you would have seen that target the Regal Caracal much sooner. They could have Essence Scatter, but their lack of, the lack of even a timer pause when we played the cat implies that's not the case. So what could the hand be? There could be more Secrets of the Golden City, card draw that our opponent doesn't have time to use. That's a possibility. A card like Search for Azcanta could be sitting in the hand, afraid to be deployed, even though our opponent had 2 mana last turn. They may have wanted to represent an Essence Scatter. A card like Negate could be in the hand, as it missed its target. Our opponent tapped out the turn that we played a non-creature spell. The land drops continue. Here's a final reward. We can assume that that was drawn. And now, I believe we move in with the Shefet Dunes and try to get the win. And we'll see if our opponent's also packing a Moment of Craving. If so, I'm having a hard time imagining how they sequenced this game where they had all these removal spells, but basically ignored our Regal Caracal long enough to get themselves into this bad position. But I suppose things happen. I am pretty surprised to find that they had a hand with so many fine removal spells, but this Caracal got so much damage in. Our opponent's going to walk the plank their Scarab God to get it back. Okay. Now the question is, do we use... I don't think that we do use a Shefet Dunes this turn. Although we don't have much else to do with our mana. And we could still hold up Scatter or not. So I think we still go for it. Just to get the damage in, get our opponent on 1. Of course, they have mana up and could have another Moment of Craving. The Dunes may be more powerful at a later time. Next turn they would tap 5 to play Scarab God, but if they have a removal spell, it's still going to happen. However, if they have a removal spell, I'm going to want to bring this cat back right away to try to at least get a clock back on my opponent, and I won't be able to do that and hold up Essence Scatter if I activate the Dunes. So I think instead what I'll do is cycle this desert and see if we can find another way to apply some pressure. Interesting. All attack and damage. Alright. See what we can get our opponent to do this turn. Back down to 2 life. They have 8 mana. 9 mana means they can play Scarab God and activate it, which means we do have to fight them with an Essence Scatter. And that resolves. So our opponent didn't leave up cancel mana, and they don't have a negate. So do they have a way to stop the cat? Let's find out. Nailbiter here to open the day. Oops, see? Have the desert that we're going to sacrifice. Is our opponent sitting on nothing? Or are they slow rolling that crucial removal spell that only comes down in the final second? Avona's Hunger. Wow. So our opponent still had another one, but we still have another activation of Shefet Dunes. We've drawn many lands this game. Very few spells, but we've made our spells count. We've essentially fought our opponent off with 1, 2, 3, 4 spells. And a Shefet Dunes. Search for his Kanta does finally come down. But does our opponent have a way to live? What an interesting choice we're about to have. To move all in with the Shefet Dunes. And a final reward says no, you may not live. Angel of Sanctions off the top though. A pretty good draw. And on an empty-handed opponent, we can take out their Search for his Kanta. And they have to draw an answer. It's going to be hard to find one with the Arch. Because, let's see, I guess a Chupacabra will do. 4 mana. Final Reward will not do. Chupacabra will. Reaver's Ambush will. Almost Craving buys a turn. Mana is being tapped. What could it mean? Cycle Desert, now it's Moment of Craving or nothing. And that is the game. We took one, that was a grind. Survive the flood. Really, I think I'm just kind of in awe at how that game played out. Our opponent seemed to have all the tools, but we seemed to sneak just enough damage through with our cats. God bless them. Let's swap it over to the blue-white approach deck to try to finish off the other side of our quest. I'm going to have to remember to put 2 deck lists in the description if I can. If I can remember, not if it's possible to put 2 decks in the description. I know it's possible. So this hand is just about all you could want it to be. Unlike the last deck, which tries to embalm a lot of tokens, this deck tries to cast Approach of the Second Sun twice. We do have 2 Approach of the Second Suns. Both were unlocked by win rewards. They are, I believe those 2 cards are the best win rewards we have by far. But at least that lets us play with a really fun alternate win condition in Approach of the Second Sun. So as much as I don't actually like my card pool very much, I very much like the fact that I've opened a pair of approaches. Lets me play these wacky control decks. And it looks like we might be up against mid-range, which is kind of your target, so to speak, if you play this deck. Gift of Paradise. Not something I plan to use a counter on. And I'll keep an opt. And we'll cast it now. See if we can find a white source. And we do. Alright, but I want to play my blue source for the cancel. But things are going swimmingly here as we search for his Kanta. On our way to the Second Sun. And a Glory Bringer will be our opponent's first play. Let's just say no thank you to that for the moment. We could try to settle it next turn, but it really throws off the rhythm of our counter spells. And I think I'll add that to my hand as well. We may end up cycling it if we have to use a settle on a threat, but if something resolves, we might just be casting it. Glorybringer number 2, you say? Alright, let's just say get out of town. Not going to try to hold it off for something bigger or greedier. Glorybringer is scary enough and can put a clock on you all by itself. Our opponent would have no reason to try to keep adding things to the board. So we want to hit our land drops. That's a land. I'll definitely take you. One of Ixalan's binding. So, what does all that mana do? Glorybringer number 3. Tally the Primal Storm. No haste. I'll take that as well. But let's go ahead and... I could cycle the cast out and try to get closer to flipping the search. Just about any spell might do it, but the cast out itself is so good against these decks. I think I'll slam the binding though for now. And we want to give the impression that we could still have an Essence Scatter, so we'll tap like this. Our opponent, no lack of gas. They has the monsters. The Tyrant is here. Oh, we'll cycle this now. That'll put us on 6, which means we can flip search, cast, approach. What did I miss? I must have been on 4? I thought I was on 5. Maybe I read it wrong. My bad. That could cost me dearly. So, alright. Let's try to figure this out. I guess I want to leave up double white if I can find a settle. That's best case scenario. But instead we find a cancel that I can no longer cast. Not great. Slash can go, that can go. Now we're up to 7. Few miscues here on that turn. If I were on Twitch, I'd say give me a punt. I deserve it. Here comes the beats. And let's see if our opponent has more gas in the tank or not. They do, in fact, have more gas. Cycle this. Transform this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be a 9th land, but I guess I don't need that too badly. Cast out. So we can get 3 cards deep this way. But unlikely we can get all the way down to the approach, but we do have a second approach in the deck that we can try to find. So let's fire this off. Let's opt and go digging. This is in case we hit a land. We can also play it, cycle the cast out as well. Cancel's not great at this point. And let's see how much damage our opponent can do to us. They certainly have powerful effects, and we need to find a Settle the Wreckage if we don't want to die. Cycling a Sweltering Suns, that's a good sign. Usually means that their hand doesn't have a ton of action right now. And there's a Raging Raptors. And here comes some beats. Alright, big turn coming up. Can our opponent put us away? We have enough mana to both Iskanta and cast out if we need to. And we definitely need to activate the Azcanta. Let's see what our opponent has. Lightning Strike your face, perhaps. Magma Spray your Ranging Raptor. We could cast it out. That does leave us dead. Therefore, that's a bad play. So I think we've got to say that's fine. I'm not sure what they're looking for. Zakama, perhaps? We could cancel a Zakama and cast out a Hippo to live. Or we could just let a Zakama resolve. It can't burn your face. So probably casting out a Hippo. That would leave us going to 1. Here comes the attack. I think we'll try to find a Settle the Wreckage, though. We could cast out and hold up cancel, but activating the search gets us... Actually, activating the search doesn't. Activating the search means that we have to put away the approach. So the only thing we're going to take off the Azcanta is the approach. So we've got to go for the cast out here. Go to 1. How much closer could it be? Struggles his own creature to make me shuffle the deck. Well, we have to allow that to resolve, unfortunately. And that's very bad, because when he goes for the survive... Well, we can Azcanta in response to the struggle. And that is the plan. Of course, we died to a lightning strike, but that's the way it was going to be. And that is the game. What an exciting one there. So, getting closer to that master rank, getting up to diamond level 3 now. I've been there before, but now we're on the mission. Cryptic Serpent's the open. 350 gold is the grab. We have another pack to open. And what do we got there? Yep, tier 3. So working our way. Now that there's a master rank, by God, I'll go for it. Alright, let's go to the store. I do believe the right play is to keep cracking the Hour of Devastation. Even though it hasn't really paid off for me yet. But we shall continue. It has the most exciting, like, Scarab God type pull. And the hours. I would love any of the hours. Not what I had in mind. And not epic enough for the music. Still, another day, another quest complete. What do you prefer? Do you prefer the Approach of the Second Sun deck, or do you prefer the Blue-White Tokens deck? Let me know in comments. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week.